Okay, so now I think we've got this. We draw our triangle. This is 55 degrees. And this is 600 feet. Not 6 feet, but 600. Then calculate the number that is from the ground. They want to know, and calculate the number of feet from the tower's base to where the wire is attached to the ground. So draw the X in there, because this would be the tower. So we go through and we label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. So we get the cosine of 55 degrees is equal to the adjacent of X over the hypotenuse of 600. We put this over 1 and we cross multiply. 600 times the cosine of 55 is 600 times the cosine of 55. 1 times X is X. Okay, plug it in your calculators. And this is feet. I said to check it because I wasn't sure. I didn't memorize all my answers, right? I didn't say that. She said that. I said check your rounding. Yeah. Why did you round to the 800? Why did I? Yeah. Because I've been doing it. In this case, it doesn't matter. If you round to the whole number, it didn't tell you, so you could round to whatever. Okay. Only if it tells you, do we really going to be strict on it? I could round to like 10,000. Yeah, if you'd like to. Shh. Okay, next problems. Okay, they gave us, consider a triangle, leave your answers as exact values, and rationalize the denominators. Okay. It says calculate the sine of 30, the cosine of 30, and the tangent of 30. So this is when we're going to need our wonderful SOHCAHTOA. Write that down so you remember what each of those ratios are. Here's my 30-degree angle right there. Everybody label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Label opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. Okay, Jacob, what's the opposite side? 6 is the opposite. Very good. Valerie, what is my adjacent side then? Okay, that 6 square root 3. Okay, the 12 is then the hypotenuse. Okay, I'm going to do the cosine. The cosine of 30. If I go back over here, cosine is the C, so it's A over H. So 6 radical 3 over 12. Okay, we do have to reduce. They can both be divided by 6. And then 6 radical 3 divided by 6 is just radical 3. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. So square root 3 over 2. Okay, you guys do sine and tangent. Do sine and tangent. Make sure you reduce. Okay, Amir, what'd you get for sine? Okay, we want a fraction. Very good. Okay. Okay, Adele. What'd you get for tangent? Okay, so tangent is O over A. So what's the opposite side? What's the adjacent side? Okay, then when we reduce that, they can both be divided by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And 6 radical 3 divided by 6 is just radical 3. Okay, so now they ask you to calculate the value of sine of 30 divided by the cosine of 30. So we're going to do that. So our sine of 30 is 1/2. Nope, divided by the cosine of 30, which is 1 over radical, oopsie, that's not it. Square root 3 over 2. We have a complex fraction. So now let's review how to deal with complex fractions. This is the same as 1/2 divided by square root 3 over 2. Okay, do you guys remember what we do when we divide by fractions? Flip it. You multiply by the reciprocal. So 1/2 times the reciprocal, 2 over square root 3. Then you multiply straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times square root 3 is 2 square root 3. Then you can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 2 square root 3 divided by 2 is square root 3. So sine of 30 divided by cosine of 30 is 1 over square root 3. What do we notice? It's the same as tangent, right? So sine of 30 divided by the cosine of 30 is equal to the tangent of 30. Do you think that's going to be true always? Okay, talk to each other. See what you guys think. Is it going to be true for all of them? Okay, show of hands. Who thinks it's always going to be true? Okay, you're out to pick a side. Who thinks it's not going to always be true? Okay. Okay, it's always going to be true. Can someone explain to me why it's always going to be true? Yep. Yes, they're all ratios, and those ratios are never going to change, right? It's always going to be opposite over adjacent for tangent. It's always going to be opposite over hypotenuse for sine, and it's always going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. If you look We can prove this is true because sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent equals opposite over adjacent. If I take opposite over hypotenuse and I divide it by adjacent over hypotenuse, always those h's are going to cancel out, right? I'm going to multiply O times H is OH. H times A is HA. Okay. The h's will cancel out, and I always end up with that same ratio as tangent. Does that make sense? So this will always be true. Any questions over that? We're good? Okay, next one. Inverse cosine. Okay, in a triangle, if the cosine of A equals 2 over 7, use the inverse cosine to determine the measure of angle A. So we're going to have the cosine of A is going to equal 2 over 7. To undo cosine, we use its inverse. So I need to get A by itself. So to get rid of the cosine, I do inverse cosine. So cosine, inverse cosine. If I do it to one side, then I have to do it to the other side. So I have, these will cancel out and I get the measure of angle A is going to be the inverse cosine of 2 over 7. So what does the measure of angle A equal? 73 point, let's measure, we'll just round it to the nearest degree, 73 degrees. Any questions over that? Okay, again, put a star on this one because your homework's going to have problems like this. Hey, everyone finds the measure of angle B.
Would you try to simplify 16 divided by 18?
You don't need to. You can. You don't need to, though.
So then would you just cross multiply?
No. You want to get the B by itself.
Oh, so 16 over 18 divided by cosine.
No. You can't divide by cosine. You have to take the whole thing. You're going to divide. But how do I get rid of cosine?
Inverse cosine.
Inverse
I
cosine.
didn't know that. So then just inverse cosine equals 16 divided by 18.
So the measure of angle B, yes, equals inverse cosine of 16 over 18. So the measure of angle B equals 27.
So usually that's 27 after not 30 as well.
You can, or you don't have to. I usually round my angles to a full degree. Okay. But again, it doesn't say, does it? Nope. Okay, we're going to skip this and go to the talk to talk. If I can find it here. Okay, so do number 1, 2, and 3 of the talk to talk. Okay, and your homework, you guys, is the assignment. Okay, it's 2 pages there, due on Tuesday.